Shalom, Kohalayim La Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachak Wadash. Double honors unto our apostles and elders of Great Millstone and rule well. And much peace and blessings to all you sensei Akim out there that's pushing this 100% truth with all sincerity, faith, and with charity. This is your brother Ash from the Great Millstone, Miami camp, coming back with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. And Lord willing, this lesson is edifying unto the elect. Forgive me if I'm sounding a little out of breath. I was biking, getting a little workout. But this is a lesson that I wanted to do for a few days. That's something I've been meditating on through the spirit. But the Lord is having me bring out right now. Okay? And that is the importance of having a calm spirit. The high value of being calm and remaining calm. Okay? Which is something that brothers have talked about, something I have talked about in the past. I've done videos on, but the Lord is getting on me to do it again. Okay? Which, me personally, I have been praying for a sound mind, having peace of mind for years, having a strong mind, which goes hand in hand. Okay, but it seems like within the past weeks, maybe a couple months, I've noticed that my spirit has become a whole lot more calm, a whole lot more chill. Okay, and I mean that in a good way. I've noticed that the way I speak, the way I move, the way I think is a lot more relaxed, a lot more smooth. And of course, a big part of that is your physical health, which through the spirit I've been doing certain things to improve my physical health, but you can always improve your physical health. You know, certain supplements or whatnot that I've been taking, which this lesson is not about that, which I believe may have played a part, but this is all through the spirit. Okay, it's not just on that. It's not really on that. I know it's the Lord. And again, this is something that I've prayed on in the past, but it's not so much of something I've been really praying for lately. But this is just what the Lord has been giving me, just pouring out on me. And I thank Him for it. I appreciate it. And I really love it. Okay, even down to my speech, the way I talk. I've noticed my words come out more smoothly. You know, my thoughts more clear. And this is just my own personal experience, so I'm seeing the value in it even more. Certain things are said to me, are done to me. I'm letting it roll off my back more easier. Okay, things aren't bothering me as much as they would in times past, or as much as they would bother someone else. And in the times that we're in, the times that we're coming into, that's going to be worth more than gold. Because we're getting ready to be demonized and persecuted on an extremely high level. And being offended in Yahweh Shai is not the move. Thinking of why is this happening to me? I didn't sign up for this, can lead you down the path of destruction. We have to have the spirit of being able to take it on the chin and to roll with the punches and to endure all things. Okay, so again, this is something I've been meditating on through the spirit lately. But I came across this meme right here. And when I saw it, I'm like, okay, yep, I'm using this to do the video. Okay, but as you can see, you have the image of the girl with the sword, with the scriptures. Okay, and it says them, which well, so it looked like she's in the woods. It says them, how can you be so calm? The world is ending. Me. And again, you just have the image of the girl winking, holding the scriptures. Okay, and spiritually that girl represents the elect, the chosen of the nation of Israel. Okay, and she's winking, giving off the if you know look. I'm not going to spell it out for you, but you see I'm holding the scriptures, and that's us through the spirit. Lord willing, we be of the elect. We know we're of the hopeful elect. So the scriptures keeps us calm. The scriptures keep us in peace. As the scriptures say, I will keep him in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on me. The Lord is bringing his men to a state of perfect peace. Okay, and as I was walking outside the door to do this lesson, my son asked me, what does serenity mean? Okay, I don't know what made him ask me that, but I just told him it means peace. But the spirit got on me to look up this word serenity, and through the spirit it should come out. This is the lesson for that. Okay, the Lord is giving his men serenity. Serenity is the state of being utterly calm, peaceful, and untroubled, representing a quietude of mind or surroundings. Okay, King David said, "What he leadeth me beside the still waters." This truth gives us still waters mentally, a quietude of mind, which is power, is true power. When you can remain calm no matter what's going on around you, no matter what is said to you or done to you, you're not allowing the outside world to control your inward world, your emotions or your so-called feelings, your thought process, your decision making, your judgment. That is spiritual power. That is ruling your spirit. That is something supernatural, because naturally the outside world affects the inward world of the minds of men. That's a natural thing, because we're in the world, we're in the flesh, And naturally, that's just the way the Most High set it up. We feel different emotions like fear. You see a tiger or a lion in the woods, it's natural for you to be afraid. That goes back to instincts. That goes back to, the animals themselves, just dealing with nature, the nature of reality. Okay, an antelope is naturally going to have fear when a lion is around. A woman is going to naturally have fear when the barbarian is breaching the gate. There's a supernatural thing to not fear men or wild beasts or plagues, pestilence. And that comes from the Lord. That's not something you can attain by just being Billy Badass. Okay, even Mike Tyson said he was afraid going into the ring in every fight. This is something that we have to pray for, and this is something that the Lord has to give to us. Okay? And Lord willing, the Most High increases this spirit within all of us, because we're getting ready to see some scary shit. The world is getting ready to be frightened from the events set to take place. It describes a tranquil, composed, and stress-free condition, often used to describe peaceful scenes or a calm demeanor. Right, calm demeanor. When you're calm, people can feel that, because that's a vibration. Right? Noise, music, those are vibrations, right? They have a frequency. Just like I used I referenced Psalm, the 23rd chapter, he leadeth me beside the still waters. Waters have what? Waves. And when there's a storm, the waves become more chaotic and boisterous, more rough. The what they call troughs, and the peaks of the wave, they get higher. But when there's a peace in the air, a calmness in the air, the waters are still. Okay, and the fish, the creatures in the sea, they get affected by that, right? Well, our bodies are 70% water. And just like the wind can cause the waves to become more boisterous or more calm, the same thing goes for our bodies. The external elements of this world, whether it be violence or different offenses that occur in the earth, people robbing from others, people committing adultery or attempting to commit adultery with your wife, whatsoever. Things don't have power over the waters in your body. I'm just thinking of some of the worst case scenarios. Doesn't mean that you don't act. It doesn't mean that You just let everything slide. But they don't take over. They don't hijack your mind or your emotions. You move with wisdom and with peace. And you maintain that calm demeanor. Okay, when your inward waters are peaceful, people pick up on that. Again, because that's a frequency. That's something you can see on somebody. You know, I like to think about dogs. You have different breeds of dogs. And certain breeds of dog are more active or hyper than others. And some species of dog are more calm. Certain dogs, they're afraid because they're, and timid. They may be small. You see them, they're shaking. They're physically shaking. And then you have other breeds of dog, and even with the smaller dogs, you look in their eyes. The eyes are the windows to the soul. Their eyes can be jittering and shaking all over the place because they have a fear inside of them. But then you have other breeds of dog that are calm. Their movements are more graceful. And you look in their eyes, there's a deep calmness. Okay, that comes from the certain breed of dog, their environment, also the energy of their master. Okay, our master is Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So our spirits are to be calm. Okay, we should have a calm demeanor. And you look at another example is a wolf, which they say is the ancestor to the dog, right? A wolf is different from a dog, and they don't bark. They howl, right? They move different. A wolf is you look into the eyes of a wolf, it's a deep calmness. Okay, and other big cats as well. They have a calmness, a stillness in their eyes, right? Because they have less fear. So I'm just using these as analogies. But when you're in that state of mind, you think more clearly, you make better decisions. And to be like that, you have to trust Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. In order for us to have this peace, we have to trust in our power. In order to trust in our power, we have to believe in our power. In order for us to believe in our power, we have to know our power. So that's why we have to read the scriptures, we have to study, we have to pray. Okay, fast when we need to fast. Break bread with Akim. You have to experience the scriptures. You have to live out the scriptures time and time again to the point where your faith becomes second nature. Faith is becoming second nature to the elect of the nation of Israel. As the scripture says, we walk by faith, not by sight. Sight is nature, first nature. Seeing, tasting, hearing, feeling, that's natural. Faith is supernatural. But it's becoming second nature to the elect through repeated use, through exercising that faith. Okay, common synonyms include tranquility, calm, composure, peace, and stillness. Usage examples. She has an aura of calm and serenity about her. You see what I mean? It's an aura. It's in your countenance. It's something that can be felt. It's something that can be seen. Why do you think 7 women are going to go to one man in the time of trouble and in the time of Jacob's trouble? It's because she's going to be able to see that aura of stillness and calmness on the elect men. And that's what women are gravitated to, because they're chaotic. All right, opposites attract. Women are chaotic and fragile, spirited. So when they see a man that's cool, calm, and collected, they're naturally attracted to that. They're naturally gonna gravitate towards that. Quiet atmosphere. He prefers the relative serenity of college town life to the city. Okay. That's pretty much it. I'm just going to close out with this scripture because I don't want to make this too long. I believe the point is being made. This is 2 Timothy, which there are plenty of scriptures on this. We could go on all day, right? Of course, you have the book of Joshua. I believe that's the first chapter. As a matter of fact, I'll get that, then I'll finish with that 2 Timothy. Jeremiah 18. Jeremiah 1:8. The book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then shalt thou have good success. Have not I commanded thee? Be strong and of a good courage. Be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed, for Yahweh thy power is with thee, whithersoever thou goest. Okay? So trusting in the Lord reassures us to not be afraid, to have a good courage. That's serenity. 2 Timothy chapter 1. And verse 7, for the Most High have not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. So, having a sound mind, a peaceful mind, goes hand in hand with power, which we already explained why or how. Okay, and I'm just using fear as an example. You can replace that fear with offense. The more you have a peaceful mind, the better you would deal with offense. Okay? Whether that's offenses from the world, from your woman, from brothers. Okay? Again, doesn't mean that you just let anyone do anything to you. It's about how you react. It's about how you choose your decisions to be made after that. Okay? Our lives are, what they say, 10% of things that happen to us and 90% of how we react to them. Okay, replace that fear, replace that offense. You can replace that with lust. You can replace that with the different forces that try to pull on our flesh in this world. You're just able to rule your spirit on a higher level, on all levels. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I'm gonna leave it there. With that, I'm gonna give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Until the next one, shalom.